welcome to Springfield Career Insights. Tonight, we confront the most personal yet profoundly professional decision: choosing a partner for marriage. Is marriage a sanctuary of dignity or a silent saboteur of career sovereignty? We explore how discernment, not infatuation, must guide professionals in aligning their personal lives with institutional clarity. In this episode, we ask, what happens when love is chosen without foresight? Should partner choice be treated as a private gamble or a civic covenant with professional consequences? We are joined by His Excellency Dr. Godfrey Gandawa, President of Springfield Research University, legal advisor, and architect of Education 6.0. His work reframes marriage as a sovereign alignment, not a ceremonial accident. Welcome, President. We are honored to host you.
Thank you, advocates at Springfield. We believe that partner choice is not merely emotional. It is civic. A marriage must elevate dignity, safeguard sovereignty, and strengthen the professional identity of those who lead institutions.
Thank you, Professor. Professor, from a civic and legal standpoint, what makes partner choice more than just a private decision?
Thank you, advocate. Partner choice is never merely private. It is the architecture of dignity itself. When two lives are joined, they do not only share affection, they bind civic responsibility, legal clarity, and professional destiny. A partner is not just a companion in the home. They become a silent co-author of your public identity. From a civic standpoint, marriage is a covenant that either strengthens or sabotages the institutions you serve. A partner who honors dignity becomes a fortress of resilience. A partner who erodes it becomes a leak in the vessel of sovereignty. From a legal standpoint, marriage is a contract with consequences. Property, inheritance, liability, and reputation are all implicated. The wrong choice can entangle professionals in disputes that drain careers, distort institutions, and compromise national trust. So I say, partner choice is not a gamble of the heart. It is a decree of destiny. It is the difference between a union that elevates your sovereignty and one that quietly dismantles it.
Thank you, Professor. Why do professionals underestimate the career impact of their marital partner?
Thank you, advocate. So professionals underestimate the career impact of their marital partner because they mistake intimacy for insulation. They believe the home is sealed off from the office, that affection cannot spill into ambition. But in truth, marriage is not a private chamber. You see, it is a mirror that reflects into every corridor of professional life. A partner can be the wind that lifts the sails or the anchor that drags your vessel into silence. When a spouse honors dignity, they become a sanctuary of resilience, a confidant who steadies you against storms, because there are always storms. But when they erode it, they become a shadow in every meeting, a weight in every decision, a silent veto on your sovereignty. The tragedy is that many professionals confuse endurance with strength. They endure toxicity believing it is noble, while their careers quietly fracture. They underestimate because they measure marriage only in romance, not in civic consequence. Yet the truth is stark. The partner you choose is either a co-author of your professional elevation or the architect of your decline. So I say, never underestimate. Marriage is not just love. It is a legacy. It is the unseen decree that either crowns your career with dignity or dismantles it with quiet corrosion.
Thank you, Professor. What early signs suggest a partner may either elevate or erode one's professional sovereignty?
Thank you, Advocate. The earliest signs are never thunderclaps. They are whispers. So a partner begins to question your time, not in love, but in suspicion. Meetings become battles, not of ideas, but of presence. The calendar that once carried your professional rhythm now trembles under domestic veto. You notice the erosion in subtle ways, the silence after your achievements, the coldness when your vocation demands sacrifice, the resentment when your dignity requires independence. These are not mere moods, is it? They are fractures in sovereignty. Another warning is emotional taxation. When every triumph must be explained, defended, or diminished at home, the professional spirit begins to suffocate. The office becomes an escape, not a mission. The institution feels your withdrawal, though no memo is written. And perhaps the most dangerous sign is self-censorship. When you begin to shrink your ambition to avoid conflict, when you mute your voice to preserve peace, you are no longer choosing career paths. You are negotiating survival. So I say, the warning signs are not dramatic. They are quiet assassins. They dismantle sovereignty in increments until one day you wake up and realize your career has been mortgaged to a union that no longer honors dignity.
Thank you, Professor. How does emotional compatibility translate into career resilience and institutional trust?
Thank you, Advocate. So emotional compatibility is not a luxury. It is the hidden architecture of resilience. When two hearts move in rhythm, the professional spirits find sanctuary. A partner who understands your vocation does not compete with it. They become the silent scaffolding that steadies you when storms arrive. So, compatibility means your victories are celebrated, not resented. Your burdens are shared, not mocked. It means that when the institution demands sacrifice, their home becomes a refugee, not a battlefield. This alignment transforms fatigue into endurance and doubt into courage. So, career resilience is born when the emotional climate at home is dignified. A compatible partner restores you after the battles in the boardroom, reminding you that sovereignty is not carried alone and institutions feel strength because trust is not built in policies alone, but in the emotional clarity of those who lead them. So I say, emotional compatibility is the unseen covenant between private life and public duty. It is the difference between a leader who collapses under silence wars and one who rises with dignity, carrying both career and institution into sovereign trust.
Thank you, Professor. Can you speak to cultural myths that glorify love at all costs over dignity and discernment?
Thank you, Advocate. So, the myth of love at all costs, as you say, is one of the most dangerous illusions in our society. It whispers that endurance is nobility, that suffering is proof of devotion, that dignity must bow before romance. But this myth is not love. It is bondage disguised as virtue. Cultures have long celebrated the silent martyr, the spouse who endures humiliation, betrayal, or suppression in the name of loyalty. Songs are written, proverbs repeated, sermons preached, glorifying endurance as if it were strength. Yet, what is endurance without dignity? It is erosion. It is the slow death of sovereignty. True love does not demand the burial of self. You see? It demands the elevation of both. A union that insists on costs without clarity is not a covenant. You see? It is a compromise of destiny. And when professionals internalize this myth, they sacrifice careers, institutions, and futures at the altar of endurance. So I say, love at all costs is not love. It is surrender. The sovereign path is love with discernment, affection with dignity, covenant with clarity. Anything less is a myth that corrodes both the heart and the institution it touches.
Thank you, Professor. What diagnostic questions should professionals ask themselves before committing to marriage?
Thank you, Advocate. So, before committing to marriage, a professional must interrogate not only the heart, but the covenant of destiny. The questions are not sentimental. They are diagnostic, sovereign, and civic. So, ask yourself, does this partner honor my dignity or do they quietly erode it? Will this union strengthen my vocation or demand that I shrink it? Is our love resilient enough to withstand the storms of public duty, or will it fracture under pressure? Do we share clarity in law, in finance, in vision, or are we gambling with ambiguity? Will this partner celebrate my sovereignty or compete with it in silence? Does he past behavior, I say the head, but it can still be his. Okay. Physically or through a social footprint, suit my reputation or professional identity. These are not romantic mazings. They are the architecture of resilience. For marriage is not only companionship, it is co-authorship of your professional identity. Many people don't ask you these questions. So I say, before you vow, diagnose. Before you promise, interrogate. For the partner you choose will either be the fortress that guards your career or the fissure that dismantles it.
Thank you, Professor. Let's take a break and listen to a song called I Will Wait Where the Road Turns Blue.
Highway where the road turns blue. I saw your shadow in the morning light. Packed your dreams and left the fight. Said you needed skies that felt brand new, but I knew where the road turns blue. You said don't follow, just believe. So I stayed, but I never agreed. I'll wait where the road turns blue, where the sky holds a memory of you. Every mile is a vow I keep, every silence is where I speak. Nitengilinze lapo, indlela ishinja umbala. I'll wait where the road turns blue. I'll wait where the road turns blue. By the old oak tree, wrote your name in the melody. The stars don't ask me to move on, they just sing, you're not gone. You said don't chase me, just be true. So I stayed, and I still do. I'll wait where the road turns blue, where the sky holds the memory of you. Every mile is a vow I keep, every silence is where I speak. Nitengilinze lapo, indlela ishinja umbala. I'll wait where the road turns blue. I'll wait where the road turns blue. When you've been gone, I'll wait where the road turns blue, where the sky holds a memory of you. Every mile is a vow I keep, every silence is where I speak. Nitengilinze lapo, indlela ishinja umbala. I'll wait where the road turns blue.
Welcome back. Let's continue with our discussion. Professor, among your diagnostic questions, you mentioned something unsettling. Does her past behavior, physically or through her social media footprint, suit my reputation and professional identity? That sounds frightening. May you elaborate further on this one?
Indeed, advocate. It is frightening. Because reputation is not a costume you wear. It is the crown you carry. And when you choose a partner, you are not only choosing affection, you see, you are merging archives, histories, and footprints into one sovereign identity. So the question is piercing. Does her past behavior, her conduct in public, her digital trail, her associations align with the dignity I must guard? For in this age, social media is not a diary. It is a permanent record. Every post, every image, every silence becomes part of the narrative institutions read about you. So a partner whose footprint honors dignity becomes an extension of your what? Of your sovereignty. But one whose archive corrodes reputation becomes a liability advocate you must constantly defend. Careers collapse not only from incompetence, but from reputational contagion. So I say, before you vow, examine the archive. Before you promise, interrogate the footprint. For marriage is not only the union of hearts, it is the measure of reputations. And the wrong measure can dismantle sovereignty faster than any professional error.
Thank you, Professor. This is deep, Professor. Are there examples of these behaviors you can pinpoint to so our audience understands how social media footprints can either elevate or erode professional dignity?
So thank you, Advocate. When I raise the question of past behavior and social media footprint, I am not speaking of those already bound. You see, I am speaking to those standing at the threshold of choice. Before you vow, you must interrogate the archive. A partner's digital trail is not trivial. It is a mirror of values, discipline, and dignity. Ask yourself, does a footprint amplify the sovereignty I must guard, or does it foreshadow battles I will inherit? If a posts glorify recklessness, if your associations erode respect, if your digital persona contradicts the dignity you must embody, then you are not choosing love. You are choosing liability. And liability in marriage is not private. It spills into the institution you serve. So choosing a partner is not about affection. It is about alignment. You are merging reputations, merging legacies, merging archives. So the wise professional asks, will this partner's past behavior strengthen my covenant with dignity, or will it sabotage it before it begins? Imagine the solemnity of a bride prize ceremony. Advocate. Elders gathered. I'm trying to amplify this so that your viewers may understand what I mean. Elders have gathered. Families unified. Dignity on display. Then in the midst of this sacred covenant, the in-laws are confronted with images of the bride clubbing recklessly, vaping carelessly, or exposed in compromising photographs online. What should have been a moment of honor collapses into embarrassment. You see? In our culture, such revelations do not merely shame the individual. They stain the family, fracture trust, and erode the sanctity of the covenant itself. So I say, discernment is not suspicion. You see? It is sovereignty. Responsible social media use is not only for those already married. It is the diagnostic test for those who aspire to marry with dignity.
Thank you, Professor. Sorry, Professor, if I may digress. You are touching raw nerves here. What about those already in marriage, where partners show what is happening in the home on their statuses and social media?
Advocate, this is where the wound ceases to be private. It becomes public spectacle. When a partner broadcasts the battles of the home, arguments, frustrations, or confidential struggles onto social media, the marriage is no longer a sanctuary. You see, it becomes a theater, and the audience is the world. For professionals, this is devastating. Institutions do not separate the spouse from the staff member. They see one merged identity. So a careless post about domestic conflict becomes a question mark over your stability, your judgment, your dignity. What was once a fleeting quarrel is now a permanent archive, searchable by colleagues, employers, and adversaries alike. Reckless posting, for instance. So, a partner who casually shares disputes or insults online transforms private turbulence into public scandal. What was once a moment of anger becomes a permanent record. You see? Inappropriate imagery. Photographs that glorify excess, reckless partying, substance abuse, or compromising settings may seem harmless in youth, but they corrode the reputation of a professional household. So, institutions do not separate the spouse from the staff member. They see one merged identity. Toxic associations. You see? A partner who aligns with divisive, extremist, or degrading online communities drags your name into those circles. Reputation is not only about what you post, it is about the company you keep digital. You see? So, for those already bound, the counsel is clear. Boundaries must be decreed. Their home must be guarded as a sovereign space. Partners must be taught that social media is not therapy. Is it? Look, whatever you call it, statuses. It's not therapy, not confession, not entertainment. It is archive, and the archives do not forget. So I say, if you are already bound, recalibrate. Establish protocols of dignity. Teach your partner that silence is not oppression, it is sovereignty. For in the age of permanence, the dignity of your marriage is the dignity of your career.
Thank you, Professor. Let's take a break and listen to a song called Midnight on the Mbabane Line.
The train was late, the night was cold. I carried stories I never told. You didn't ask, you took your seat right beside my incomplete. No questions, no demands, just your hand in my hands. And in the rhythm of the rail, you heard the parts I couldn't tell. Midnight on the Mbabane line. You stayed when silence was a sign. Ngiyabonga wena owangizwa. You read the pauses in my tone. Midnight came and I wasn't alone. The windows blurred, the world went blank, but you never once looked back. You saw the man I tried to hide and chose to ride right by his side. No ticket marked your destination, no promise, no explanation, just faith in tracks you couldn't see, and love that rode the dark with me. Midnight on the Mbabane line. You turned my silence into a sigh. Ngiyavuma, ngiyahamba nawe. You stayed when I had lost my way. Midnight passed, but you still stayed.
Welcome back. Let's continue with our discussion. How should mentors, families, and institutions guide the young professionals in partner choice?
Thank you, Advocate. So, Advocate, the guidance of mentors, families, and institutions must rise above sentiment. It must become sovereign counsel. Too often, young professionals are left to gamble with affection, while those entrusted with wisdom remain silent. But silence is not guidance. Silence is abdication. Mentors must teach discernment, not indulgence. They must remind the young that partner choice is not only about romance, but it is about resilience, reputation, and destiny. A mentor's duty is to ask the hard questions, not to massage, to ask hard questions. Will this union strengthen your vocation or sabotage it? Will this partner amplify your dignity or erode it in silence? Families must guard cultural honor. They must remind the young that marriage is not a private indulgence. It is a covenant between households, a measure of reputations. Families must not glorify endurance at all costs. They must glorify dignity at all costs. Institutions must teach openly. Universities, churches, and civic bodies must frame partner choice as a professional decision, not a private gamble. Springfield have started. They must integrate lessons on digital sovereignty, emotional intelligence, and reputational clarity in their guidance. For when professionals collapse in the marriage, institutions inherit the fracture. So I say, mentors, families, and institutions must become architects of discernment. They must teach the young that marriage is not only love, it is about legacy. And legacy, once compromised, cannot be easily restored.
Thank you, Professor. Professor, what risks arise when professionals ignore red flags in partner selection? And what are these red flags, if you may name a few?
Thank you, Advocate. When partners ignore red flags in courtship, they are not choosing love. They are choosing liability, disguised as affection. Red flags are not decorations. They are warnings. To dismiss them is to invite erosion into the covenant of destiny before it is even sealed. The risks are profound. Erosion of sovereignty. That's one. So a partner who disrespects dignity during courtship will magnify that disrespect in marriage. What begins as small cracks in dating becomes fractures in professional identity once vows are what? Are made. You see? Don't think if they are disrespecting you, I know it's just a small disrespect. Once the vows are sealed, they show their true colors. And what are these red flags, you ask? They are clear. If only we dare see them. A partner who ridicules your vocation or belittles your ambitions. A partner whose social media footprint corrodes dignity, reckless posting, compromising imagery, toxic associations, and destructive friendships. Look at the friends that he associates with or she associates with. That's their true character. A partner who manipulates digital presence, removing their last sin. I'm touching on too many people now. Graying their ticks, hiding their trail. If I may ask, why would one conceal the simple act of reading a message? It's a red flag. In our culture, such secrets whispers of deceit. Crooks, Advocate. Crooks. A partner who lies, cheats, and entertains multiple affairs. A partner who disregards boundaries, mocks elders, or trivializes cultural honor. Red flag. A partner whose values contradicts the covenant of dignity you are called to guard. So I say, red flags in courtship are not inconveniences. They are prophetic signals. To ignore them is to mortgage your sovereignty, to gamble your dignity, and to invite collapse into the very institutions you serve.
Thank you, Professor. What does a sovereign partner choice look like? Not just romance, but alignment with dignity and vision.
Thank you, Tori. So a sovereign partner choice is not measured by butterflies in the stomach. You see? It is measured by alignment with the destiny. Romance may ignite affection, but sovereignty demands discernment. I have always taught that marriage is a prison. Those inside are trying to get out, and those outside are desperate to get in. Let me repeat this. Marriage is a prison. You see? Those inside are trying to get out, and those outside are desperate to get in. If you make the wrong choice, you will long to escape. But divorce is a liberty, and freedom may come too late. The best safeguard is wisdom at the threshold. Do not be deceived by butterflies. You see, for butterflies always fade. Here lies the great paradox I have observed. Many marry women believing they will never change, yet they do. Women marry men believing they will change, and they do not. Consider the analogy. If you are dating a man who drinks the whole brewery and sleeps at the pub, if he cheats now, if he is violent now, do not imagine you can change him. You understand? If you marry him, you have signed for that reality and worse. For men rarely change their spots. And if you love a woman with a reckless past, yes, she may reform, but a digital archive of gallivanting and nudity will not vanish. Compromise at your own risk, for the archive is permanent. Thus, I do not say do not marry. You see? I say, if you choose to compromise, know the prison you have signed for. A sovereign choice is a partner who does not merely love you, but protects the dignity you must guard. It is one who amplifies your vocation, not ridicules it, who strengthens your resilience, not drains it, who honors your cultural covenant, not trivializes it. Such a partner becomes more than companion. They become custodians of vision. They understand that marriage is not only about affection, but about legacy. They guard your reputation as fiercely as their own, knowing that institutions see what? Merged identities, not separate individuals. So I say, advocate, sovereign choice is not indulgence. It is protection. It is the covenant where love meets legacy, where affection is fused with alignment, and where marriage becomes not a risk to career, but a fortress for destiny.
Wow, this is amazing. Let's take a commercial break and stay tuned.
At Springfield Research University, we don't teach to pass exams, we encode futures. Grounded in Education 6.0 and powered by STEMA, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, medicine and automation, we deliver modular, sovereign learning across undergraduate, master's and doctoral programs. Explore our prospectus, where every curriculum is designed to stematize every discipline, dignify local authorship, and credential transformative knowledge. Be stematized, be sovereign. Here, knowledge is authored, not borrowed. Curriculum is credentialed, not copied. Every graduate becomes an architect of transformation. With 2 annual intakes, March and September, the path to innovation is always open. From the logic of automation to the soul of indigenous intelligence, SRU is where tomorrow is designed. Springfield isn't just a university, it's an epicenter of epistemic dignity. Join the movement. Study where learning governs itself. Springfield Research University, the globe is here. Where are you?
Welcome back. Let's continue with our discussion. What safeguards should be in place before marriage, emotionally, legally, and professionally?
Thank you, Advocate. Before marriage, safeguards must be decreed. Love alone is not enough. Affection without structure collapses under the weight of reality. A covenant must be fortified on 3 pillars: emotional, legal, and professional. So emotional safeguards, courtship must test resilience, not just romance. Emotional maturity is the first fortress. A partner must show stability in conflict, discipline in affection, and respect in silence. If they cannot manage anger in dating, they will magnify chaos in marriage. Emotional readiness is not optional. It is the foundation of dignity. Legal safeguards. Marriage is not only a union of hearts, it is a contract of law. Professionals must secure clarity, prenups, agreements where necessary, property rights defined, inheritance safeguarded. Without legal boundaries, affection becomes a liability. The law must protect dignity so that love does not collapse into litigation. Professional safeguards. Institutions inherit the household. A partner must understand that your vocation is sacred. Safeguards mean setting boundaries, confidentiality of workplace matters, respect for professional schedules, and alignment with career vision. A spouse who undermines your calling sabotages not only your own, but the institutions you serve. So I say, before vows are spoken, safeguards must be established. Emotional maturity, legal clarity, and professional alignment are not luxuries. They are shields. For marriage without safeguards is a covenant exposed. But marriage with safeguards is a fortress where love, dignity, and destiny can enjoy.
Thank you, Professor. And finally, Professor, if you could issue one decree to all youngsters or anyone about choosing a partner, what would it be?
Thank you, Advocate. If I could issue one decree, it would be this. Choose with destiny in mind, not butterflies in the stomach. For butterflies fade, but destiny endures. Do not be deceived by fleeting affection, for marriage is not a playground, it is a covenant. A wrong choice becomes a prison, and escape is costly. A wise choice becomes a fortress, and legacy is secure. The decree is simple, yet sovereign. Examine the archive before you vow. Digital footprints reveal more than whispered promises. Test dignity before you commit. Courtship is rehearsal. Marriage is permanence. Guard vision before you match. Your partner must amplify your destiny, not erode it. Respect sovereignty before you bind. Love without alignment is indulgence, not covenant. So I say, Do not choose with haste. Do not choose with blindness. Choose with discernment. Choose with dignity. Choose with destiny. For in the age of permanency, partner choice is not romance alone. It is the architecture of your future. Thank you, Advocate, for having me.
Thank you, President, for reframing marriage not as a private gamble, but as a sovereign covenant. Your insistence on discernment, dignity, and professional alignment reminds us that partner choice is not emotional indulgence, it is civic architecture. To our audience, if you're ready to elevate your personal decisions into professional clarity and to choose partners who strengthen rather than sabotage your sovereignty, Springfield Research University awaits you. Visit www.springfieldresearchuniversity.net and join the mission to structure life and leadership with sovereign wisdom. That brings us to the end of this diagnostic edition of Springfield Career Insights. May tonight's reflections provoke foresight, dignity, and sovereign resilience. I am Clarence, your host. Good night.
Hey, siyakhuphuka, tikitile futhanza lungakhiwa. Hey, siyakhuphuka, sonke siyavumelana, ngemjululo muhle sonke similela.
This is Springfield Research University, February 2026 enrollment intake. Greetings of the day. If you are following the crowd, you know where to enroll. If you want degrees that are not degrees, you know where to enroll. If you want a university always on strike, always in protest, you know where to enroll. If you want dusty, outdated curricula, you know where to enroll. If you want to train for dead industries, you know where to enroll. But if you want to train for jobs of the future, come to Springfield. If you want to study Education 6.0, come to Springfield. If you want to be STEMatized, to modernize and industrialize, come to Springfield. If you want to join visionaries and architects of the future, come to Springfield. At Springfield, we do more than award degrees. We mold leaders. Here, dignity is non-negotiable. The be-all belongs to the street, not the classroom. Rascal dressing, hooligan behavior, hell-tinting fads, those are the trademarks of other campuses, not Springfield. Springfield Research University is where discipline meets destiny, where parents know their children are shaped into visionaries, not drifters, where character is forged along competence. We are here to shape the future of your children and your career. We are not a university of protests. We are a university of standards. Here, expectations are high. Here, discipline is destiny. Here, excellency is the minimum, not the maximum. Springfield Research University, where visionaries are molded, where leaders are born, where futures are forged. For those serious about their future, Springfield is the destination. If your future matters, Springfield is where it begins. Check our offering. Visit our website at www.springfieldresearchuniversity.net or get in touch with us.
Springfield Research University. The globe is here. Where are you?
In the heart of Springfield, a new dawn breaks. With Channel Yamaswati, our future takes shape. Career insight. knowledge shared so bright. Together we rise, reaching new heights. Springfield's calling, let's unite. With Channel Yemaswati, we ignite. Innovation and growth, we lead the way. Together we shine, here to stay. Together we rise, together we shine. Springfield and Yemaswati, celebration time, our vision clear.